कृष्णपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Welcome all of you to our daily Bhagavad Gita reading session. We are reading Bhagavad Gita as it is. I am really very grateful to your enthusiastic participation. Every day, 5 days in week, you are coming together and reading Bhagavad Gita. What can be more auspicious and benevolent than this? So this Bhagavad Gita are the personal words came from the mouth of Supreme Lord Krishna. So the words of the Lord and Lord are non-different. So we are directly associating with the Lord. Chapter 2 by our Srila Prabhupada is named as Contents of Gita Summarized. Why? Because almost all the essential teachings are summarized here by Krishna. He has spoken it in brief. So those concepts further he will elaborate in rest of the chapters. Hence, this chapter is very important. And just a quick recap. In the first chapter, we saw that Arjuna has shown his unwillingness to fight because he saw his relatives in front, and it was a great challenge for him to negotiate between Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma. So at last, he gives priority to Kula Dharma because Dharma Shastra says that the family members should be protected. Whereas the Artha Shastra says, oh, a aggressor can be killed, no problem. But same Veda says that Dharma Shastra has to be given more importance than Artha Shastra. In that logic, Arjuna has concluded that, oh, my dear Krishna, I am not willing to fight. Visrijyam sasaram chapam soka sambhikna manasa. That's how the chapter 1 ended. And in chapter 2, basically, Krishna will refute Arjuna's argument one by one. But before that, in the very first section of the chapter 2, Arjuna further elaborates his doubt, and he conveys his indecisive nature. He finds that all his knowledge so far he has gathered are insufficient to decide upon what is really right thing to do. Although he has already given his verdict, but still he thinks that he is not sure whatever he is doing is right or not. Something is pulling him behind. So he surrendered to Krishna and he became a dear disciple and accepted Krishna as spiritual master and requested him to enlighten him or tell him at least what is the right things to do. And he tells that, oh, don't think that I should go to Vyasadev or some other personality. Oh, my dear Krishna, I find you the supreme competent and I have full confidence in you. You are my friend and you suddenly know which is better for me. And Krishna, without any delay, accepts that position because he is always ready to support devotees. The role, whatever devotees wants him, he is always ready. In the first chapter, when Arjuna told, Senevar Ubhayor Madhya Ratham Stapaya Mechuta, as a Bhaktavashala, he took the chariot to middle of the earth. He obeys the order of Arjuna because he is taking the role of charioteer driver of Arjuna. Although he is the Supreme Lord, but he never hesitates to engage himself in these menial activities for the pleasure of his devotee. Like the devotees do not hesitate at any point in time to give pleasure to the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Supreme Lord is also always eagerly waiting and do not waste any opportunity. That's the reason he is called Achyuta. He never hesitate to show his affection to devotees. He never missed the opportunity. Now Arjuna became a disciple of Krishna. Krishna started speaking Arjuna. So he enlightened him first with the knowledge of body and soul, matter and spirit, and that's how he is also concluding this section. Arjuna, you should fight because anyway, body is not eternal. So those for whom you are worried, Bhishma or Drona, their soul will be always living. This is eternal. So you should not lament for that. And then subsequently in this chapter, section 3, 4, 5, Krishna will give in section 3, he will give the knowledge about Sakama Karma. In section 4, he will give the knowledge about Niskama Karma. And in the 5th section, he will further elaborate the qualities of Sthita Prajna, the person who is fixed in one-pointed intelligence, who is fixed in Krishna consciousness. How does he work? How does he behave? How does it sit? All these things. Okay. And you see this chapter. Let's go to this a very quick summary here. It will be helpful. This chapter begins with Sanjay's Uvacha. Seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind is depressed, eyes full with tears. Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following word. What he spoke, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? Kutastwakasmalamidam visame samupastitam anaryajushtam asurgyam akirtikaram Arjuna. They are befitting, they are not at all befitting you a man, you know. They neither give you higher planets nor give you any fame. They bring infamy. And at this time of crisis, where from these impurities come upon you? O son of Pritha, do not forget, you are the son of Queen Pritha. So do not underestimate that family heritage. Do not yield to this degrading importance. Have you Klaibyang Mas Maga Mahapartha? Have you become a eunuch? Klaibyang Mas Maga Mahapartha Naityatva Upavatyate Kshudram Hudaya Durbalyam Tyakto Atishta Parantapa. Tyakta. Give up this pretty weakness. Utishta, arise. O Parantapa, O chastiser of hell. So he is Krishna begins with chastising Arjuna, and we have already learned where we can chastise, because in that relationship where you have invested heavily and you have already owned the trust and love of the other person, there you can chastise, like a mother chastises her son, like a father chastises his son or daughter. So that's never a problem. But the same Krishna in chapter 17 will say, Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat swadhyaya vasanam chaiva vangmayam tapauchyate. He'll speak. He will tell that these are the austerity of the speech. Do not agitate any person. Never speak agitated words. So here, we have to take this learning in proper perspective. We should not take this as example. Oh, you see, Krishna never speak in chapter 1, and when he started speaking, he spoke with chastisement. So we should also chastise. No, that doesn't give you a license. If you have invested heavily in that relationship, then do so. Otherwise, be always careful. Then for you, the 17.15 instruction is valid. Then Arjuna, hearing this, said, "Oh Madhusudana, oh Arisudana, are you Sandipani Sudana? Are you Vikrasana Sudana? No, you have not killed your grandfather. You have not killed your spiritual master. How come you are telling me to kill? They are worthy of worship. They are not means. I'm not thinking even to give them a verbal fight. How come I will counteract with them? How will I shoot arrow onto their chest? Rather, I should worship them with flower. It is better, hence, it is better for me to live in this world in begging. Because Krishna might ask, "Oh Arjuna, you are Kshatriya, how can you then live in this world? Other than the fighting or administration work, you cannot do anything. You cannot go and farm the field because it doesn't fit to your varna." He tells that, "Oh, I will live by begging. I will go to forest because these are the great souls. How can I kill them? If I kill them and win this kingdom, then all this kingdom will be tainted with the blood. All these enjoyments come from this winning will be tainted with blood. So I don't need that. What to speak of conquering them? Even if I get a unrivaled kingdom like the demigods in the heaven are having, that also will be insufficient. I will easily give up." So he is confused whether to conquer them or to be conquered by them. Because Krishna might speak, "Oh, if you will not fight, they will come and fight and kill you." Arjuna tells, "No problem. Even if they come and conquer, then I have no problem." And at last, in verse 7, it tells, "Karpanya dosha apahat svabhava pruchhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yasreya sannishchitam gruhitan me sishyate ham sadhi mam tvam prapannam." Sishyaste ham sadhi mam tvam prapannam. Prapannam, I surrender to you, O Krishna. Sishyaste aham, I am your disciple. Sadhi mam, please instruct me. Sishyaste Mang Sadi, Mang, Twang Prapannam, Tvam, I surrender to you. Why? Because Karpanya dosha apahat swabhava. Dosha, there is a dosha in me. What is that dosha? Due to miserly weakness. Due to this miserly weakness, I have lost my composure. Here, Srila Prabhupada is giving a very good teachings. Who is miser, who is kripana, and who is brahmana? Brahmana is who knows the essential meaning of this body, how this body will be utilized, how this body should be utilized in the process of cultivating spiritual knowledge. Okay, athato brahma jigyasa. He should inquire about the supreme absolute truth. That's the brahmana. Okay, that's the reason he is always busy in propagating the message of the Lord. He always helps the other varnas to uplift and make progress in their spiritual advancement. He sometimes arranges ritual ceremonies for them. He conducts the ritual ceremonies. He instructs about the Supreme Lord. He narrates the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. He doesn't have any personal benefit. Then how he feeds his stomach? The Kshatriyas, they provide, the shelter and food to them. Whereas a Kripana, he doesn't know that he has this beautiful body, and in this body, such a wonderful task can be accomplished, but he doesn't have any knowledge. Even though he has knowledge, he doesn't utilize this. He has no realization. That is miser, Kripana. Like a person who owns a lot of wealth but doesn't spend anything. So will his wealth bring any benefit to him? No. Money, while spending, you can buy enjoyment. Likewise, we all have such a beautiful wealth, such a beautiful gift from the Supreme Lord. Instead of using this in spiritual cultivation, we are wasting this body in some other activity. So Arjuna finally tells that, this grief which has come upon me is drying my senses. I am unable to dispel this. By winning a prosperous kingdom, and like the sovereignty of demigods over heaven, this cannot dispel my sorrow. Then Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemy, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Tusnim Babhumaha. Then from verse number 10, again Madhusudana started speaking. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna smiling, Prahasanniva Bharata. Okay? Because Krishna was laughing. Krishna should laugh on this foolish work of Arjuna, but since Arjuna has taken the position of a student, he suppressed his smile. So that's the reason he is smiling a little. A little smile. Prahasanniva Bharata. So he spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. From verse number 11 to 30, he speaks jnana, the knowledge of body and soul, the knowledge of matter and spirit. The essential meaning of this section is body is never alive, soul is ever alive. Soul never perishes, body always perishes. Soul is eternal, body is permanent. So these are the essential teachings. So let's see. We have already studied first 5 verses of this section, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So what all is happening? Krishna is telling, you should not lament. Pragyavadansya bhasasya gatasun agatangsya nanu shosanti pandita. A pandita, a wise person, do not lament for either living nor for the dead. Okay. Natvevaham jatunasang natvang neme danadhipa na chaiva na bhavishama sarvavaya mataparam. There was never a time when you, myself, and these kings didn't exist. Nor now, nor in future, we will cease to exist. So we are always existing. That gives the eternal nature of the soul and also the individuality of all the living entities. Nityo nityanam chetanasyatananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kama. Okay. That supreme consciousness is different, and we all are individual consciousness. And there we saw how Prabhupada has refuted the ideas of Mayavadi that at the time of liberation, all the soul will merge into the supreme Brahma, supreme consciousness. No, that idea is rejected. We always will maintain our individuality. And in verse 13, Krishna speaks, oh Arjuna, why are you worried? You see, your body also changing every moment. Once you had childhood body, and then youth body, and after some time you will have old body, old man body. You see, although the body is changing, but the soul who is remaining in this Dehi, he never changes. And why do you lament at the time of death? Because at the time of the death, another change will happen. The soul will transform into another body. So likewise, while living in a body, it is always witnessing a bodily change. At the time of the death, it will experience another change of a different body. So how does it matter? A sober, a dhira tatra namuhyati. A sober person is not bewildered by such change. And then he further says, the non-permanent appearance of happiness, matra sparsastu kaunteya, sitoshna sukha dukhada, agama apayana anitya stam stithya soharata. Arjuna might tell, oh Krishna, I am very much attached to the present body of Bhishma and Drona. Okay, I understand. Soul is ever alive. They will never perish. They will continue to exist. And as you told, Bhishma and Drona are the pious souls. They are eligible for liberation. If not, at least they will get heavenly planets and enjoy there with a young body. So, but that's okay. But what if I am very attached to the present body? Bhishma as my grandfather. I will not have Bhishma as my grandfather after he died. But then Arjuna, Krishna tells, then Arjuna, in this case, you have to tolerate this. You have to tolerate this pain because This is the nature of this material world. You know, here nothing is permanent. Everything will come and go. Agama, apaina, and anityas. You should understand that they are not permanent. Like you experience winter and summer, like you experience happiness and distress. Happiness is not forever, distress is not forever, winter is not forever, and summer is not forever. Okay. In the winter you miss summer, in the summer you miss winter. Basically these are arising due to the contact of senses with the sense object, nothing else. These are non-permanent. Okay. So you have to tolerate it. Matra sparsastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada agama apaino anityas tam sthitikshaso bharata. Sthitikshaso. Tolerate this. Arjuna might then ask, why should I tolerate? What will happen? What is the credit? Then Krishna spoke that amrutatvaya kalpate. That person will be eligible for liberation. While tolerating, he will be indifferent to this happiness and distress. How should someone tolerate? When happiness comes, he should not be too much elated with the happiness. There is no problem of celebrating and be happy, but one should not be too much elated, because that will give rise to pride, and further will be the cause for downfall. And similarly, when distress comes, one should not be depressed. One should not go into a permanent depression. No, that is not tolerating. Okay, one should, oh, okay, this distress comes, I have to undergo through this. Anyway, happiness is waiting for me after I endure this patch of distress. That's the way of tolerating. So some amrutataya kalpate, that person will be eligible for liberation. So hence you should do that. So this is a quick recap. And let us go to the verse and read 2.16. नाशतो विद्यते भावो ना भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टन्तस्त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः. You please join with me. नाशतो विद्यते भावो
नाशतो विद्यते भावो
ना भावो विद्यते सतः
नाभावो विद्यते सतः
उभयोरपि
उभयोरपि
दृष्ट्वन्तस्त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
तत्त्वादर्शिभिः.
नाशतो विद्यते भावो
नाशतो विद्यते भावो
ना भावो विद्यते सतः
नाभावो
विद्यते सतः
उभयोरपि
उभयोरपि दृश्यन्तम्
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
तनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः.
नाशतो विद्यते भावो
नाशतो
विद्यते भावो
ना भावो विद्यते सतः
नाभावो
विद्यते सतः
उभयोरपि
उभयोरपि दृष्टन्तः
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
तनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Synonyms: na, never; asataha, of the non-existent; vidyate, there is; bhavaha, endurance; na, never; abhavaha, changing quality; vidyate, there is satah, of the eternal, ubhayoho, of the two, api, verily, drishtaha, observe, antah, conclusion, tu, indeed, anayoho, of them, tattva, of the truth, darsibhihi, by the seers. Translation: those who are the seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. नाशतो विद्यते भावो ना भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोर अपि दृष्टोन्तस् त्वनयोस्तत्व दर्शिभिः तत्वदर्शिभिः. Tattva means tattva. Tat means that. That means what? That absolute, that knowledge of absolute truth. Tattva. Tattva darshivi, those who are the seers of the truth. Darshivi, who have seen, who are the seers of this truth. That means who knows, who already understands the nature of supreme absolute truth. So they are two kind, impersonalist and personalist, but both of them, ubhayor api, this can be understood in that way. Otherwise, it can, ubhayo also can be referred to body and soul. So all the seers of the truth, after analyzing them, what this body and soul, ubhayor api drishtantwas, drishta, they have seen, and anta means conclusion. By studying both matter and spirit, they have concluded what? Na asato vidyate bhavo. Na vidyate bhavo. For what? Asata. Asata means this material body. There is no permanent existence of this material body. Na abhavo vidyate satah. Satah means soul. Because of its eternality, it is called soul. Na abhavo vidyate. There is no non-existent of the soul. So that means soul is ever alive, body is never alive. This is the conclusion by the Tattvadarshi. Na bhava vidyate, there is no permanent existence for what? Asatah, for the body. Na abhava vidyate, and no change for whom? Satah, for the soul. Tattvadarshi, those who see the things in proper perspective as they are, annayoho antadrashta, realize this conclusion, ubhayorapi, about both of these. Purport. So basically time is up. So let's end the session today here. From tomorrow we'll read the purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful
Hare
day.
Krishna.